Welcome back to Zach's in the Shop. Now on this channel you guys are probably familiar with seeing these 12-volt brushless hyper tough tools. We got our 2-speed drill driver and our impact driver. But I want to do something a little bit different today because in the past I've compared them to the M12 fuel products from Milwaukee. It turned out poorly for hyper tough because hyper tough is no match for M12 fuel. But that's not really a fair comparison at all. When you think about M12 fuel, the drill driver and the impact driver can cost over $200 unless it's on sale. The Hyper Tough costs less than $100 for the impact driver, the drill, 2 batteries, and 2 chargers, albeit they're awful chargers. So it would be a much more fair comparison to compare these to these two M12 products. We have our impact driver and our drill driver, but it's not brushless. These are brushed tools. These two are a much closer matchup price-wise to the Hyper Tough than the M12 Fuel. So it's feasible that you might be trying to choose between these and the Hyper Tough brushless line. Except the brushless line of Hyper Tough has another advantage. See, the Hyper Tough typically come with these 2 batteries right here. These are 12-volt 1.5 amp hour batteries. But when you do the math here, the Hyper Tough has a lot of cost room to spare even with these in comparison, so we can do this. Purchase 2 4 amp hour batteries. So by strictly cost, you can get the 2 Hyper Toughs and the 4 amp hour batteries extra and still be the same cost. So let's compare and see if these Hyper Toughs with their 4 amp hour batteries are a better value than the Milwaukee. Let's get some information on these guys first, starting with the weight. Our Milwaukee M12 brushed impact driver with the 1.5 amp hour battery that comes in the kit weighs 1,072 grams, or 2.36 pounds. Our Milwaukee 2-speed drill driver, with its 1.5 amp hour battery, weighs 1,176 grams, or 2.59 pounds. The Hyper Tough brushless impact driver, with 4 amp hour battery, weighs 1,161 grams, or 2.56 pounds. The Hyper Tough brushless drill driver, this one has the metal chuck and the 4 amp hour battery, weighs 1,210 grams, or 2.66 pounds. The Milwaukee brushed drill stands flat on the battery and goes up to 8 1/8 inches tall. The Milwaukee brushed impact driver is 7 7/8 inches tall. The Hyper Tough drill with the 4 amp hour battery is 9 1/8 inches tall. So it's a full inch taller than the Milwaukee. The Hyper Tough brushless impact driver is right at 9 inches tall, another full inch taller than its Milwaukee counterpart. Now we're going to test the RPM for each one of our tools, starting with the Hyper Tough impact driver. It is a single speed tool. Sometimes you want to go very, very slowly with a delicate task, so let's see what our minimum RPM is as well. That's not very low. Next we have the Hyper Tough drill driver. It has 2 speeds. Let's start in low speed. Now high speed. Now let's find our minimum RPM. That's pretty good. Now we have the Milwaukee impact driver. It is single speed as well. So the Milwaukee is significantly slower than the Hyper Tough. Now for our minimum speed. There's a very good trigger on the Milwaukee, and it's able to stay at a lower RPM than the Hyper Tough, but it does make some interesting noise. Now we have the Milwaukee M12 drill. It's also 2 speeds, so let's start in low speed. Now high speed. Now for our minimum working speed. Next we're going to go over to my hydraulic force gauge and we're going to see how much pressure these impact drivers can put in this hydraulic system, and I'll convert that to foot-pounds so we can see which one of these impact drivers is the most powerful in a 10-second period. The Milwaukee is fully charged. We'll do 3 runs and we'll see what the highest run gives us.
first run gives us 41 foot-pounds.
Here goes run number 2.
Getting warmed up now, we're at 46 foot-pounds.
Run number 3.
M12 saved the best for last at 59 foot-pounds.
Now we're down to 3 bars on the battery. Hyper Tough is fully charged. Here's our first run.
Hyper Tough takes a big lead at 72 foot-pounds.
Hyper Tough coming in strong. Here's run number 2.
Hyper Tough consistent at 72 foot-pounds again.
Here's our last run.
Hyper Tough saves best for last as well at 74 foot-pounds.
Still shows fully charged. So our little Hyper Tough here did pretty good, I think. It definitely seemed like it had the advantage coming out of the gate. A lot stronger than the Milwaukee. So in the next test, I'm going to use this torque adapter in line with my drill. While I'm drilling in these lag screws into the wood, the torque adapter will see how much torque is built up and let us know how powerful our drills are. Milwaukee's fully charged. We're going to start in high speed, which should be our lowest torque rating. 2.6 foot-pounds. Run number 2. 2.9 foot-pounds. Final run. 2.8 foot-pounds. Still enjoying a nice healthy battery charge. We drop it down into low speed to get more torque. She was smoking. Smoking for 7.8 foot-pounds. Outstanding. Oh yeah, she's toasty. What a piece of... Well, let's try this again. See if we can smoke her up again. Definitely gets smoky. 8.9. We'll leave it at 2 runs so we don't totally destroy it. Our Hyper Tough is fully charged. Starting in high speed, should be our lowest torque. 3 foot-pounds. 2.6 foot-pounds. 2.8 foot-pounds. Still fully charged. We're going to drop it down into low speed, see what kind of torque we can build up. 6.8. We'll do one more run to see what kind of low speed torque we can put together. 6.0. We have Old Smoky right here, and we're going to see if Old Smoky can survive the next test, which will be driving in 10 construction screws to see how quickly it can do it. We're going to do it in high speed. We're going to compare Old Smoky with our Hyper Tough. Good luck to everybody. Batteries are fully charged. Old Smoky was able to finish the job there. Didn't want to drive a few of them down into the wood, however. Let's see if Hyper Tough can handle it. On top of Old Smoky, all covered in cheese, I found my poor meatball. Fully charged on high speed here. There goes our Hyper Tough. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top right there. I know you guys can see on the screen, but it felt like it was sort of evenly matched. Let's see how wrong I am. Now let's switch back over to our impact drivers to give them a little test run and some real world type testing. Got 5 lag screws here. We're going to see how quickly each one of our impact drivers can drive those in while impacting. The battery's fully charged on our Milwaukee here. Our Milwaukee lost 1 bar from the battery.
Let's see how quickly the Hyper Tough impact wrench 20 volt can take these out. Yeah, she's a lot saucier than these little impact drivers we're testing this time.
Now let's see what the old Hyper Tough can do. It's fully charged. The Hyper Tough still looks fully charged. In our next test, we're going to get our drills back out again and do some actual drilling. I have this 1/2-inch self-feed spade bit. We're going to drill 5 holes, and we're going to see who drills them faster. We're going to be set in low speed.
M18 fuel probably could have done this test in about 10 seconds or less.
Next up, we have our Hyper Tough.
Well, it's pretty close, but Hyper Tough squeaks out another victory by about 4 seconds.
One of the things that is important when using a drill driver is knowing how the clutch is going to perform. So I'm going to compare our 2 drill drivers right here in low speed. We're going to set the clutch 3 different ways, maybe 4 different ways, and we're going to compare how they work between the Milwaukee and the Hyper Tough. First up, we'll check out Smokey. Smokey has 18 clutch settings. Let's try setting number 1. Next, we'll do setting number 6. Next, we'll try 12. And that one cuts off right as it hits the wood surface. Next, we have the Hyper Tough. The Hyper Tough has 21 clutch settings. Setting number 1. Goes down a little bit farther than the Milwaukee did. Setting 7. Only about another 1/4 inch or so. Setting 14. And that pretty much drove it all the way to the surface of the wood. So that's not a tremendous difference between the 2. The Hyper Tough seemed to drive the screw a little bit harder initially at clutch setting 7, but besides that, they seem pretty even.
We have several different rankings to go over, so let's start at the basic size. Weight, we're going to combine both the drill and impact driver, and we get Hyper Tough at 2371 and M12 at 2248, giving them the edge in weight. M12 also has the edge in height, because they're going to come in at 16 inches tall combined, whereas Hyper Tough is 18 1/8. And a lot of that is because we bought those 4 amp hour batteries and they make it a little bit taller and probably a little bit heavier. Next, we're going to look at RPM. So let's start with our drill. The Hyper Tough drill in high speed had a 1437 RPM. M12 only had a 1276. The Hyper Tough got all the way down to 46 on low RPM, which is nice for working with little sensitive screws so you're not stripping things out and burying things in wood and stuff like that. But the M12 was pretty good at 75, but still lost to the Hyper Tough. When we go over to the impact drivers, the Hyper Tough got all the way up to 2664, but struggled at low RPM at 241. The M12 couldn't get up to 2664. It was at 2140, but it did do a lot better at 75 on the lowest RPM score. Looking at torque, let's start with the drills. The Hyper Tough in low speed achieved a torque of 6.8 foot-pounds, and in high speed it was 3 foot-pounds. The M12 did beat the Hyper Tough at low speed torque at 8.9, but that comes with a little bit of a disclaimer because the M12 pushed its drill probably a little bit too far. The M12 didn't shut down a little bit earlier, which probably would have saved it, but probably would have evened out our scores as well. But Old Smoky did win at 8.9. In high-speed torque, it came in right below the Hyper Tough at 2.9. We go over to the impact drivers, and the Hyper Tough had the edge there, 74 foot-pounds compared to 59 foot-pounds for the M12. When it comes to the performance test, we're going to start with the construction screw test. The Hyper Tough completed that test in 14.9 seconds, about 4 seconds faster than the M12, which was at 18.7 seconds. We switch over to the impact drivers for the lag screw test. The M12 got housed. M12 was 63 seconds, and Hyper Tough came in almost twice as fast at 32 seconds. So that was pretty impressive. When we go to the spade bit test, it was a little bit closer with the drills. Hyper Tough came in at 34.9 seconds, beating the M12 by about 4 seconds again, which came in at 38.7 seconds. We move over to the total ranking, and Hyper Tough does come out on top, 1.3. That's an average placement of 1.3 compared to the M12, which came in at 1.7. It seems close. It's not as close as it seems, but I do want to know what you guys think about this test. Do you like me testing out these groups of tools that you might not have thought of testing against each other because of cost? Do you like this test? Do you dislike this test? Do you like dogs or cats? Put it all in the comments. Did you think that Saving Private Ryan was not as good as the Thin Red Line? If so, just don't watch my videos any longer. I don't even know what to tell you. Of course, I'm kidding. You can watch even if you make bad decisions like that. I hope you all stick around for the next video. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you then.